What is going on? Welcome to episode 134 of the Nintendo Powercast. I'm your host, N64 Josh, on this very special NPC. My player 2 is none other than Cliffy. What's up, man?
Not much. Thank you for having me on, man.
Yeah, dude, for sure. So, before we jump into this thing, if you guys want to get yourself a free book from Audible, go to audibletrial.com/NPC. There you can pick up something awesome like Ready Player One or Console Wars. The chair I'm sitting in is from OP Seat. If you go to n64josh.com/OP Seat, you automatically save $10 at checkout. I love these chairs. Check them out. That's n64josh.com/OP Seat. Let's get to the announcements.
Hey, listen!
We do this show live on twitch.tv/N64Josh, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. I want to say what's up to everybody. We got 2 chats going live right now. We got Cliffy's chats live. We got my chats live. So hello, everybody. Welcome in. We're glad you're here. Thanks for hanging out with us. I stream every morning, Monday through Friday, starting at 4 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, bright and early, before I go to work. Because I'm crazy. And Fridays at 6 a.m. we do a first look where we check out a handful of new Switch titles that have made their way onto the Switch. So that's it for our announcements. Now we get to talk to Cliffy. All right, man. Well, usually my Thursday night shows, I kind of just touch on a little bit of news here and there, and then go over like all the sales that are happening on the eShop. But tonight we're gonna do things just a little different. We're just gonna get to know you. And well, we met through Grand Keys the day Mario Tennis Aces came out. You guys needed a 4th, and I was lucky enough to get to tag along, and we we had some fun doing doubles.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Yeah, it was really good. So, I want to get to know you, man. What's your history with Nintendo, and where did it all start? Let's go back in the time machine.
You want to go way back?
Yeah, let's go way back.
All right, back at the dawn of time. The first, I guess, introduction I had to Nintendo was probably my uncle had an NES with, I think, the original Super Mario Bros. That I played a little bit here and there. But growing up, I was a Sega kid, so our family, we always had.
This show's
Sega
over. We're done.
Yeah, I'm so sorry, but listen, it gets better. We'll make our way into Nintendo.
Okay.
I had a lot of friends growing up, so that had Super Nintendo. So like that was always like a huge highlight for me, like being able to go over to a friend's house and be like, oh snaps, here's a whole like library of games that like I've never played. And so like Super Nintendo was probably my first like brush with Nintendo and being like, oh my god, there's this amazing other thing out here. Super Mario World was probably like the biggest thing that we played, that or maybe like Turtles in Time on SNES.
Dude, yes.
So
good stuff.
And then I didn't have my first console till N64, but I remember being super hyped to have it. I got it for Christmas with Super Mario 64 and Wave Race, I think, were the first 2 games, and then I got a whole library after that, and then been pretty much a wrap from there. Like I've owned every Nintendo home console except for the Wii. I skipped out on.
What? You're like the only person in the United States that didn't own a Wii.
Well, so my little brother is also really big into gaming too, which is kind of cool that I had somebody to share that with growing up. But he had a Wii, and I waited outside of a Target like at midnight, like to get one. Like I put in the work. And we did get to play it. I just personally didn't own it, but we did have it around. So
yeah, I mean the one time you played it with him was probably about the only time he played it as well, because like other than bowling every now and again, right? No, there were some good games on there. Yeah. Well, let's you're gonna get a kick out of this. I mentioned this on my last podcast, but it only took me 22 years and 1 day to finally complete Super Mario 64. My name's N64 Josh, and I had never beat that game until last Sunday.
People give you flack for that?
Oh, dude. Dude,
Yeah.
that's why one of our questions coming up is what games have you not played that we're going to judge you for? Because I'm judged on a regular basis because of all
I
of
got
the
you.
all the games I've never played. Anything that was
So wait.
story related, you know?
Wait a minute. So you'd never beat it, or you'd never got 120 stars?
No, never. I never owned it. Never.
Oh my! Really? Wow. Okay, so in my mind, I thought you'd never fully completed the game,
No,
but
no,
you
no.
just never played it.
No.
Wow.
Here's
it's like
the deal.
flagship.
Here's the deal. I've said this on here before, but I walked into my friend's house and he was playing it, and I saw him do a Bowser fight, and I'm like, oh, I just saw the end of this game. I don't need to play this
Yes.
now.
Spoilers. I know what's going. Yeah, I gotcha.
Right. I mean, right. It's Mario. Like, oh, he's not gonna fight Bowser. What'd you think? Right. But I was like,
Yeah.
well, hey, I saw it. That's good. You know. And I mean, I played a lot of multiplayer, Mario Kart, GoldenEye. Like, as soon as I tasted a first-person shooter, man, it was game over. It was like GoldenEye,
Yeah.
Perfect Dark, Turok. Give me that cerebral bore, baby. It was good to go. You know. So.
Oh man, Turok. Oh, deep love for Turok.
Well, let's dig into that, man. Like, so it seems like the 64 was kind of where you kind of, put your roots down.
Yeah. I was gonna say also in addition to N64, I did have a Game Boy Color.
Oh, nice.
Was my first iteration of mobile Nintendo, and I had Pokemon for that. Pokemon Blue, no, I had Red. My sister had Blue. But that was pretty much like one of the only things I had for Game Boy Color. A couple of games here or there, but 64 is like the first when I dug my heels into Nintendo. Like Super Mario 64 for sure. Like you said, Turok was a big one. Wrestling games for me was where it was at. The WCW NWO World Tour,
dude.
and then WCW NWO Revenge.
The spear.
I remember, yeah, I remember coming home from like school and just spending like 7 hours just like giving Kevin Nash all the specials and just power bombing Eric Bischoff for like 5 hours and just mindlessly playing and doing it. It was so good.
I mean, it was probably a year ago now, but my wife and I had, I'm not exaggerating, a 20-minute match between Goldberg and Rey Mysterio, and I could not pin her, and she ended up beating me as Rey Mysterio. I was Goldberg. I was doing the jackhammer, all of it. It didn't matter. She was not.
Does not matter.
She was not having it. So,
Man, that's one thing I wish they would go back to that style of wrestling game. I miss it so much. Even if they did like a HD remake or something, like it definitely holds a special place in my heart for sure.
they've never seemed to be as fun since then, right? Like,
Yeah, I mean, the best mode's always Royal Rumble.
Oh yeah,
like
for sure.
I think I could play almost any wrestling video game regardless of what year, who's making it. Royal Rumble's the mode to go to. But yeah, just like overall, like I don't know, there was just something about it when that first came out, and it was like you could customize your dudes, you could give whoever you wanted the belts. Like it was just mind blowing.
Yeah, man. Like we played hours. I was dating my wife now, but we were just teenagers. Man, we would play that for just hours and hours and hours. Like we loved it. We loved it, and it was so random. Like that she got into it with me, but I mean it's not like she was a wrestling fan. She was just like, oh, this game's so fun. Let's keep playing.
It's just good. I mean, I think that speaks to how awesome it was. You know what I mean? You're drawing in people who don't even watch wrestling.
Yeah, exactly. So you did Mario 64, Mario Kart.
Yep, Mario. Actually, I think Mario Kart for the N64 is probably my favorite version of Mario Kart.
See, I knew I liked this guy.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I also enjoyed the Super Nintendo one. There's been a couple since then that have been good. I like Double Dash on GameCube was really tight, I think. I'm not a huge fan of the latest one, I've got to say. And Mario Kart 8 or the one for the Switch, I have it, but it's just, I don't know. It's something about, I can't really, it's hard to put my finger on exactly what it is that makes me not enjoy it as much as the other ones. But man, Mario Kart for N64, whether it was, racing the cups or battle mode, like it was super solid.
I just looked over at your chat and they said dating your wife now. People usually do that in reverse order. Kirby Geek just said my heart just broke in two. Like, I love Mario Kart 8. Like, what do you mean?
I'm
You
sorry.
can't
I'm sorry. It's not that maybe it's not a bad game. It's just not for me. It's
Yeah,
not like
no, it's
that
cool.
one doesn't grab me the way it does other people, I guess.
Yeah, it Splatoon 2 just took over my most played game. It was Mario Kart 8 up until that point on my Switch. So they were neck and neck for a while. But so what about like did you mention Wave Race too right off the bat?
Yep. Had Wave Race when I first got the 64. I was trying to. What year did the 64 come out? You would probably know.
96.
So I would have been 8. Yeah, that's what I thought. I was about 8. I got it for Christmas. I had Wave Race and Super Mario 64. I loved Wave Race when it first came out. I probably played more Super Mario 64. There's actually a funny story. So like when I got my Nintendo, my younger brother, we're probably about 7-8 years difference. He was just a baby at the time, and he would our parents would like put him like in the little like baby rocker. I don't know the name for it. It's the thing they just like chill out in, and
Like a walker
and he would
or
like
something?
sit there, not like a walker. It's just like something they like lay in, I guess, like sits on the ground.
Like a little bouncy chair, whatever. Like
Kind of, yeah,
Yeah,
basically
okay.
same sort of deal. And so like he would sit there while I played Super Mario 64, and I would play and he would just be chilling there. But because of like the opening screen, like when Super Mario 64 first starts up, it's like it's a me Mario is the first thing you hear. His first word actually ended up being Mario, my younger brother. So like the N64 like ingrained and like set my younger brother up to just be like a gamer. Like there was nothing my parents could do. It was just like, well, this is it now.
we've lost him.
He's been a huge Nintendo fan ever since.
He's
So
gone.
yeah,
Well, that's cool, man.
yeah.
That's cool. So, Wave Race, did you do like 1080, like the snowboarding stuff like that? Any of the
I don't think so. Not on the 64. I know I played snowboarding games later, but I don't remember exactly. I've owned outside of Nintendo stuff. I've owned other systems and stuff too, and I probably played like Cool Borders. Cool Borders is PlayStation though, right? Not Nintendo. Trying to think. I don't know if
It
Cool
must
Borders
be
had
because
a
I don't
Nintendo.
know.
Don't know. Well, you would know if they had a Nintendo iteration, correct?
I think so. Maybe.
Maybe.
You know,
All right.
my Oracle will tell me shortly here in the chat. So she will
Yeah,
know.
I don't know if I ever had snowboarding games. I'm trying to think of other really ones I really got into for 60. Pokemon Snap, huge fan.
Okay.
Pokemon Snap.
What about like? I mean, you were kind of young, so were you allowed to play GoldenEye or Perfect Dark? Those were like, you know.
Yeah. I don't know if it's hard to. I don't know if I owned GoldenEye. My parents might have been kind of against it. I definitely played it. I know at other friends' house for sure. A fair amount. Yeah, I don't think I personally owned GoldenEye, but it's because my friends had it and we played it so much over there.
So, what was the first game that you ever stayed up all night playing?
It might have been Turok.
Really?
Honestly, I got Turok for I think the first time I ever remember staying up all night playing a game. It was my birthday. I got Turok. I had friends over for like a birthday party, and it was like a sleepover birthday party, and it was like, all right, I don't care what else we're doing, but we're definitely staying up all night, and we're playing Turok. And I know there were some kids that made it the whole night. Others like fell off. We were young. There was a couple survivors, but I remember being up all night playing it. It was awesome.
That's rad, man. That's rad. So another question I like to ask, and we'll keep going along. We'll get into GameCube and everything too, but like,
Cool.
we'll just take a little detour. What's one of your like most epic gaming moments? Like something that just sticks out in your mind. It could even be something that happened recently. Like it doesn't have to be as a kid. Like I was mentioning beforehand, for me, it was, you know, being 12 in an arcade playing Killer Instinct with a line of like grown men behind me, like, kid, how are you doing that? I'm like, shut up and put your quarter up. You know, like.
Honestly, I'd have to say my most epic moment would probably be a very recent one, which was competing at SGDQ this year at 2018's at Summer Games Done Quick.
Okay.
And being on stage playing Mario Maker, which is a lot of what I stream on Twitch. But being able to do that, we raised a significant amount of money. I believe we raised $100,000 for the run, or during our run, and then there was an additional $50,000 incentive we raised for us to play a hard level, like a bonus segment, essentially, for people who are not familiar with SGDQ or Summer Games Done Quick. But so essentially, the most epic part of it was during the hard level bonus. Like, the whole thing was awesome, and raising money was a great thing. But like the craziest moment was there was a hard level bonus segment where 3 or 4 of us got up and played really, really, really tough levels. And I thought it would be really funny to play a level that played itself, essentially an automatic level, but that looked really hard.
Right.
So the idea was for the main thing of the idea was like to let people who were in the Super Mario Maker community, like, they would kind of know that it was kind of not on the up and up, and it was just for show. But everybody else would kind of get that, like, that wow factor out of it, and kind of be fooled a little bit. And it went over really well. There's some people who knew that what was going on, but there was a very large amount of people who couldn't believe that I was doing what I did it. So I'd done it. Not only did I play the level, but I played it blindfolded, which was like the crazy factor.
Oh, I watched this clip. The right? Is it the clip you sent me?
Mm-hmm. Yep, I sent you a clip of it.
Yeah. So okay, keep going then. I'm intrigued now.
Yeah. So I like, it was a whole huge thing. Like, there was so much work that went into it. Like, 2 weeks prior to the event, like, while I was streaming, I had like a whole like auto level, like, send me your best auto levels on stream, and I went through and I played all sorts of different ones until I found this one called the Kingslayer by this creator named Bolvar. And it's a great looking level. The level looks insane. And I had Graham Pooh Bear as a buddy of mine who was in the race with us. I was like, listen, I need you to like commentate while I'm doing this and just hype it up and make it like the craziest thing. And they did a great job. He did a great job of doing that and selling it. But yeah, it was just like, I don't know, it was insane. It was really crazy to like go back and rewatch the video and rewatch Twitch chat while it was happening, and just see people like their minds blown. I don't know. It was really
Dude, it went crazy. Like, cause the clip you sent me, I watched it on Twitch with the chat still go, and so I was like, oh, like, I watched it a few times. Then I just watched that, like, it just exploded as soon as you made it through this thing. So, I mean, I've watched plenty of Maker, right? I've seen a lot of those auto levels. I assumed because you had it looked like you were moving up and down, at least somewhat, right?
Yeah. No. So that's the thing. All I had to do is hold forward up and then run and jump. And the way the level works is Mario's running, and because he has a cape, he'll bounce off certain items, which will cause him to fly. And things are just kind of ping-ponging me around, but I'm holding 4 inputs the whole time. I was super conscious of, while I was being on stage, of the video of the camera recording me. So if you go back and rewatch it, you'll notice that my controller is slightly off screen and you can't see me actually putting the inputs in. And there was like a whole bunch of like little stuff like that where it's like, okay, we got to make sure this goes off without a hitch, and it did. So
you guys sold it, man. That's awesome. That's very cool. Okay, so let's move into GameCube.
Cool.
Right? Is that where it went for you? Was it you said you owned them all? Was GameCube like your main system in that era, or did you make your way over to Xbox or PS2?
So during that generation, I think I'd gotten just like a backstory for me. My family, my parents had split up when I was young, so I'd go visit my mom, I'd go visit my dad, and it kind of like worked out to the best for me because like at my mom's house I had like GameCube, at my dad's house I had PlayStation. So like it was like one of the, like the, if you take lemons and you turn them into lemonade, right? So you got to make the best of your situation.
Right.
So that was it for me. It was like, all right, well, I get to play everything and make sure to ask for different things at Christmas, I guess. and luckily it turned out okay. But yeah, so I didn't get an Xbox until much later, but I played a whole bunch of GameCube. Super Mario Sunshine was great. Time Splitters 2, probably
Dude.
my favorite game
Yes.
on
I'm
GameCube.
telling you, this we might be best friends. I'm just letting you know right now.
They actually just got their somebody picked up the
THQ Nordic.
licensing to- Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see what happens with that.
Let's HD
love
remake
Time
all
Splitters.
3 games on the Switch, baby. Come on.
Man, you're getting me excited.
Come on.
Yeah, it would be awesome. Trying to think of other really hot stuff for GameCube off the top of my head. Super Monkey Ball, one I played with my little brother and sister a whole bunch. It was a great party game for us. My sister was a beast. I don't even know how she was so good, but like me and my little brother, avid gamers, like hardcore gaming all the time, whatever. She like doesn't mess with it unless it's like, we're like, dragging her in, come on, come play with us. And she just, something about Super Monkey Ball, she was, next level. We couldn't touch her. So
That's wild, man. That's
Yeah.
wild. What about like Metroid Prime?
I've never played a Metroid, any of them.
There, chats, go ahead and judge. Go.
Yep. You asked me which one was going to be it. There's probably a couple in there, but Metroid's a big one.
Not
Never
any
played any of
Metroid.
them. Not Super Metroid, not regular Metroid.
Do you have the
not,
SNES Classic?
Do I have a SNES Classic?
Yeah.
I got one from my brother. I don't own one though.
Okay.
Nope.
If you do anything, complete Super
Okay.
Metroid. You won't regret it, even now.
I'm sure I wouldn't.
Yeah. It's so good.
Yeah. If I were gonna play any of them, I think Super Metroid is probably where I would start.
Yes, dude. So good. I'm looking at your chat right now. Cliffy's chat, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Hold him to that. Make him play Super Metroid. All right. Let me know when he's finished it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the GameCube had, like you said, Double Dash was super good.
Mm-hmm.
There was the Star Wars games that were on there. Like Rogue Squadron.
I don't think I played much Star Wars on GameCube. I don't think.
What about 64? Did you play it there? Like Rogue Squadron, Rogue Leader, all those?
I might have rented one
I see.
back in the day when video game rental places like Blockbuster, we had a family video store near us. I did a lot of that, rented a lot of stuff. So I probably rented it for a weekend or, played it a little bit, but I don't think I ever owned much Star. I'm not a huge Star Wars person, like huge Star Wars fan. I enjoy it, but I'm not deep into it.
That's cool. That's all right. That's all right. Nightcrawler from my chat says the Wii. You can download Super Metroid on your Wii U for the $7.99. So
But that would be the only other game I own on Wii U then, outside of Super Mario Maker. I would have 2 games for my Wii U then.
Oh, my chat's bringing up Mario Strikers. Any of the sports games, tennis, golf,
Oh man,
soccer.
yeah. So I'm pretty sure I played Mario Golf. Loved Mario Golf.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
I've always been a fan of Mario sports games. I enjoy sports games in general. I used to play more of them before I started streaming. I don't really play many sports games now, but something about like a mix of like competitive, semi-competitive sports mixed with like that Nintendo like polish. It's just something about like the two that like, I don't know, feels really good.
No, I get it. I think it's that wrestling factor, dude. It's just the arcadiness of it. Like it's not a simulation, and so you get that Nintendo creativity thrown in with something that's somewhat traditional or that we're used to, and that's what kind of makes it fun.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Mario Tennis, that just released on Switch, bit right into that. Like it's the same deal. I felt that it follows in suit with all the other good Super Mario sport games that there are. So
yeah, I mean, and golf was stellar on the 3DS, and so I'm really hoping we see it another Mario Golf game make its way to the Switch. Really hoping for that actually. Let's see. They also asked about Resident Evil. Did you play any of those on GameCube? Because those were stellar.
not. I've played a little bit of Resident Evil, but not on GameCube. It was on
Okay.
PlayStation.
All right, and then throw out a few fighting games. Soul Calibur. You got Melee. Smash Bros.
Melee, definitely. Melee, definitely. I am a fan of Smash Bros. I'm definitely more a casual player. I've said it before, but I'm more the dude who's like, let's turn all items on, and then you're gonna stop playing with me after I won't stop hitting you with the fan. Like when you're like, all right, Cliffy, we're up. Like I can't deal with you anymore. Like I'm done. Like that's my
Okay.
thing. I love like I don't know. Like I like all the assist trophies. I have so much fun playing when it's fun, and then when it gets super competitive, like growing up I had a lot of there are a lot of people in my circle who were like super into Smash, like that was like their thing, and like it wasn't even fun to play them because it was like you just get stomped. It's like uh it's just crazy. So I'm like, I'll just have fun. That's gonna be that's where I'm gonna live with Smash Brothers. I'm just gonna enjoy it and not try to go crazy.
No, I hear it, man. I totally hear you. Like I've just recently started trying to get better at that game, and it's a long road, right?
At
like
Melee or at the latest one?
No, in Smash 4. And
Okay.
so, but we've had a few nights where we've had everybody get together and do like, 4-player, all items. Everybody's in Discord. We're just laughing. Like it's it's just a really good time. Like your palms are sweating far less, like
Yeah.
and so yeah, even my chat, Mr. Cool Red Luigi's like, yeah, it was so much fun, like because it was just a nice change of pace, which is cool that you can do that in a game like that, because Street Fighter or something, you're not doing that, right? That's not happening. You're kind of just always going for it there. So
Ultra competitive, yeah.
right. So okay,
Yeah,
well,
there's not many like party fighters out there if you think about it. Most fighters, like people get super into them, and there's not like a big casual scene like the way Smash Brothers has.
yeah, it's pretty crazy the way it can capture so many different. It's probably why it does so well every time they launch one of those things. Like they usually break records for how fast they sell. So I'm curious of what's going to happen this December.
That mixed with like the fact that you're getting, it's mashups are always intriguing. It's like the same way, with Avengers films. People want to see all their favorite people doing things together. So when you see like Mewtwo fighting Mario fighting Donkey Kong, it's like, what am I even doing? Like, this is awesome.
Right. I've had a few people in my chat that are like, they better not hurt Isabel. So, okay, well, let's keep on going then. We can skip the Wii. We'll get to the Wii U, which is just Mario Maker, right?
It's the only game I own.
Okay, well let's camp on this for a little bit, because this is kind of like, is Maker what got you into streaming and that kind of stuff?
No, no, Maker's not what got me into streaming. But it was definitely like, it's been for sure instrumental and a driving force of my content pretty much since almost day one. I started streaming on Twitch back in Halloween night, October or in 2015. So almost 3 years this month. And then I don't think I got Mario Maker until like a week or two into November. But I remember like I had just started being like, okay, I'm going to start streaming, playing video games, and this is a thing I'm going to try to be consistent with and see if I'm any good at. And the idea was just like I hadn't owned a Wii, but ever since I had initially saw like the trailers for Super Mario Maker before it released, I was like, this is going to be the greatest game in the world. I'm going to get to make Mario Maker or Mario levels and play an infinite amount of Mario levels. This is going to be awesome. So like in my head, prior to even streaming, before that was even in the picture, I was like, I have to get this. Like, I'll buy a Wii U just for this game. I don't care. Like, I'll do it. So then like I had started streaming, kind of forgot about Mario Maker for a little bit. And then I was like, you know what would be really awesome to stream is if I streamed Mario Maker and then I had people send me their levels to play. Like, I think people would enjoy watching somebody live playing their levels. And that was like it. That was like the whole thing. And it soared from there. So
I love it, man. I love it.
Yeah.
And I mean, and now, I mean, describe some of your maker streams for us in case somebody hasn't ever like maybe there's people that haven't even seen a Mario Maker stream. Like, do you do it all? Do you do like the expert and the super expert and all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, so like I said, when I first started out streaming, I played primarily levels that people would send me. After doing that for a really long time, I kind of wanted to shift the content, the main content of the streams a little bit. And in Mario Maker, you can either play you could play random levels that you receive from people, or that you can find online, or they have a mode that's built into the game where it's called 100 Mario Challenge, where essentially they've got easy, normal, expert, and super expert now, and it'll give you, for expert it's 16 levels, for super expert it's only 6. But essentially, how the mode works is you get 100 lives, and you have to clear all the levels on whatever difficulty you're on. And so I started doing that for a while, and I was like, you know what, this is fun, but like I'm not engaging my audience, the people who are watching the stream, the same way as like when I was playing viewer levels, which is one thing I really liked about that. I was able to make that connection with people watching me, and like I'm all about that, trying to engage, with my community as much as possible. So I decided between myself and Lady Cliffy, who originally came up with the idea, we created a chat game, like the idea for a chat game, which had been then refined with my moderators, my Twitch chat moderators, and I had a buddy of mine who's a programmer, and he programmed this whole game to basically go along with the 100 Mario Challenge. So that's like a lot of my Mario. That's like 99% of my Mario Maker content when I stream Mario Maker on Twitch. Is I play the expert mode in 100 Mario Challenge. There's 16 levels I have to play. But then the way the game works is I'm trying not to die to different things. So like if you could think like a Goomba or a Koopa or like a Hammer Brother or whatever it is, as I'm playing through the levels, I'm trying not to die to different things. And people in chat they like receive different enemy types, basically, and they're as I'm playing through, they're hoping I don't die to whatever their type is. They might get like 2 or 3 different types, and if I can beat all the levels, and as long as they have one thing I didn't die to, they win in-stream currency, which they can use for like game giveaways and other things. So
I see.
But yeah, that's pretty much like when we're playing Super Mario Maker on Twitch, that's what we're doing.
I love that, man. That's great. I mean, that's like super creative and just kind of something that helps separate you from, from other streamers. Like I'm digging it. Let's talk a little bit about Maker. Like, I know it's kind of been a little bit of a complaint with the Maker community. Like, Nintendo kind of abandoned that game like after just a couple updates, right? And then wasn't there a few updates that kind of like threw a monkey wrench into things that like destroyed certain levels and things like that?
Yeah, it's kind of wild, the story of how Nintendo went about treating content and just keeping things updated within Mario Maker. Like for the first couple months, it was very cool. It was super hype whenever we'd get like a new update, and like they added, like in the original game, they didn't have checkpoints, I don't believe, if I remember correctly. They didn't have a checkpoint system or a start over from checkpoint. They definitely didn't have red coins and key doors, which have allowed for the creation of an insane amount of like super creative levels. Essentially, you're able to make like challenge room levels where you've got to try to get all these red coins from the different rooms to get the key to ultimately beat the level. But all that kind of stuff was added in, and it was awesome. And I think that was the last update, was the red coin and key door update. And there was a lot more stuff they added in besides that. But then after, probably, I think they stopped in March of 2016. So it'd probably been about 6 months post-release, if I'm remembering correctly. I might be off. But if after that, they stopped releasing new content. And then every so often, they would start patching out little things here and there, which I think Nintendo felt were like glitches in the game, things that were kind of hindering people who were playing the 100 Mario challenge. There was like just like little things that for us on on the Twitch community and people who played like harder levels and super creative levels were like main staples of things that they were doing. For example, they had like I think one of the big first ones was being able to jump off of a P switch. So back when the game first started, you could have Mario hold a P switch, jump in the air, drop the P switch, and jump off of it. And I forget how many frames you had to do that. It was like probably like 10 or something, but you had a significant amount of time, like a window to do that. But then they patched it, and it was like down to like 3 or 4 frames, like, or I'm not sure the exact number, but it was way down. So they made it way harder to do it. Mm-hmm. And little things like that. There's a whole list of stuff like that where they would just like, instead of adding new content to Mario Maker, they were taking out like these little like cool things the community was able to like find and create crazy levels with and stuff. So yeah, it was kind of like, you know, we'll give you things, we'll give you things, we'll give you things. We stop giving you things, and now we're taking away. And it kind of like, I don't know, I feel like it hurt a lot of people's views towards how, you know, Nintendo was treating this game we love so much, you know?
The crazy thing is Mario Maker is and has been for quite some time usually the highest Nintendo game in the Twitch directory.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's
loved,
it's kind of leveled out a little bit with there's some bigger Smash 4 streamers now, and even Melee has some bigger streamers and stuff, but for the most part, Maker seems like it's been the most consistent of always being the one Nintendo game that's been up there.
Yeah.
And for Nintendo to kind of like not, I feel like they've never like my hope is that with the Switch and the new leadership and the fact that we're seeing like them have a little more focus on esports and things like that, like that if and when a Maker 2 comes out for the Switch, there's going to be much greater support. Even Aces, for instance, like, I mean, you know, how fast did we get that? Did we get the patch for Bowser Jr.? You know, like, it seemed like they were listening and they took action way quicker than they ever have with anything. It seems like, unless it's something that's like majorly game breaking, right?
Yeah.
And
I think that's honestly how they viewed a lot of the stuff that they ended up taking out after giving things to us with Maker. I don't think it was, you know, they saw people making cool things and they were like, no, you're not doing it. I think it was more so they didn't look at it like cool ways to make creative levels or do creative things in levels. They looked at it like a problem. And so they were taking a lot of it out. But the thing, and I think the reason they did that is because a lot of people, and perhaps, you know, younger customers, were playing more of the 100 Mario challenge than they were just playing other people's levels, and, you know, possibly having trouble getting through levels that required you to do these kind of like crazy tricks.
Oh, yeah.
But I think there was a better way they could have done it. You know, they could just have, you know, don't take the like little kind of tech out or the fun things we're able to do. Just make it so those levels don't show up in the 100 Mario challenge. So like, you're not, if it has that thing in there, omit it, or at least give the creator the ability to say, hey, I know this level has this in it. If I put it in 100 man, it's going to get removed. So I can opt to have this level not show up in the 100 Mario challenge. And that was another huge thing they did too, Nintendo. They were removing people's levels. Yeah. Levels that people have put, you know, countless hours into creating, right, and then they just deleted their levels. And it was like insane. Like, that would have killed, for me personally, like if I was really big into creating, which wasn't my thing, but I would have just been like, I put in all these hours into this game, and it's like, imagine, you know, the company's like, we're deleting your save file because there's a little thing in here that's you know, whatever. So rough.
Yeah, man, that's really unfortunate. So I have this thing with Maker. When it finally comes to Switch, because Nintendo has not let the 3DS die, I'm saying they're going to let the 3DS be a controller so you can stream making levels while using the stylus and your touchscreen on your DS to Two.
That would be amazing. Honestly, like
you like it? Well, you're
looking-
the first person that's liked it. Everybody else is like, will you please stop saying that out loud before someone hears you?
I hadn't thought of that solution to the problem, but that's always kind of been the thing. Thinking about if or when they make a Super Mario Maker 2 for the Switch, if it happens, is that one thing a lot of people liked streaming on Twitch was the creation of levels, and because you have to dock the whole gamepad. And that's the only way to stream content like that. The whole creating of levels, you would either have to do it. You wouldn't be able to use the touchscreen the same way you did with Wii U, where you can just have a stylus and move everything around. So it would literally take you forever, and it would definitely make a lot of people not want to. But I think that's a genius idea to be able. If they're, I don't know how plausible I think that is, but I like the idea.
So the moment that Monster Hunter in Japan, I found out it was cross-play between the DS and the Switch. I was like, that's when the idea popped into my head. I'm like, why don't they just make it a controller? They're keeping this thing alive for so long. The other thing is the motion controls on the Switch work so well. I think you could probably hold a single Joy-Con in your hand and use it as like a pointer on the TV to be able to move stuff around. Like you can do really fine, intricate movements with that. It's not like it was with the Wii remote and that kind of stuff. Like,
yeah, but my only thing to that would be is the amount of time people put into making these levels, and for some people, it's hundreds of hours. There's some people put, but even if you imagine like putting 50 to 60 hours into one level, which is not that uncommon, like to be forced to do that if you wanted to stream it via motion controls. I don't know how plausible that would be.
Yeah. And maybe they could put like on the stick, they could put a wheel of different blocks that you could, like just to be able to streamline things. Like they're pretty creative when it comes to that stuff. So
yeah, I mean, I'm definitely, I consider myself to be a pretty optimistic dude. I try to stay hopeful, and I all that stuff sounds great to me. Anything that furthers the ability to, especially as a streamer, to be able to create that kind of content and put it out for people to watch, it would be awesome.
What do you want in Maker 2 or Maker Deluxe or what? Like,
oh man,
what? I hear a lot of people say like, oh, the ability to make hills so you can slide.
Slopes, yeah. That's a very popular one.
Yeah.
I think one of the best thing, and like, yes, being able to have slopes. Some people say let's get the original physics, because if you, even in the Super Mario World levels you can create in Super Mario Maker, it doesn't have the same physics as the original Super Mario World. I'm finding out firsthand more recently as I've been streaming some like Super Mario World on Twitch. But I think one of the things that makes Mario Maker so awesome and gives people creativity is the ability to combine things in crazy ways. So like being able to put a two enemies together, or three enemies together, stacking enemies on top of each other, and all these enemies have different mechanics based on how they operate. But when they combine them, you can make like crazy sorts of amalgamations of monsters. You can essentially create like bosses out of stacking like a giant piranha plant on top of a thwomp head. So now you got a thwomp that's coming down to crush you, and it's shooting fireballs. So honestly, like if I could pick one thing, like just give me as many enemies as possible. Create new enemies out of thin air. I don't care. Like just give me things that do have different patterns and different projectiles, and let me be able to combine them. And I mean, they have some new stuff which is one really awesome thing about Super Mario Maker, I thought, is they have stuff that was like special that they didn't pull from retro games. Like they had like the Fire Koopa clown car, where you can get in a clown car, fly it around, and shoot fireballs. Like that was never in anything.
Right.
There was a Lanky Mario, which is a very
so gross looking
shaped. Yeah, but you could jump really high with him, and that allowed for those kind of levels.
Your chat just said Shelmet.
Yeah, Shelmets. Yep. There's all sorts of stuff. So I don't think it's out of the picture or unreasonable to think that if they have Mario Maker 2, and I'd like to say when, just speak it into existence, but like just give us everything. Just give us all the let us have all the enemies. Create new enemies for us. We'll take it all.
You want Mario 2?
Mario. Oh yeah, I would. Yes, SMB 2 for sure.
So pulling
which is
veggies.
like one of the main forgotten ones. Yeah, definitely. I'll take it.
Yeah, and really they could. I don't think they do this, but like the lost levels that it's really Super Mario Bros. 2 in Japan, right? It's the lost levels here in the States came out on the Mario All Stars. It added like wind and things like that,
Yeah.
That was crazy when you first had to deal with it. The other thing I wonder if they could incorporate is the puzzles that are like at the end of 8-4, where you have to go in the tube after you see red. I wonder if they could incorporate some things like that to really mix things up. And maybe they already do that. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like for puzzle stuff, the community does a great job of taking the ingredients that the game gives us and turning it into that kind of thing.
Gotcha.
Which is basically what I'm asking for. I want more ingredients. I want more colors on my palette. I want more ways to make crazy things.
No, I get it. The one thing we talked about this a little while ago, but I think a little more multiplayer would be all right too. Like getting
absolutely. And I think that's one way they could make it a lot different from Mario Maker 1 is the ability to play levels together, or even create together, and have the two players start at the beginning. And they've done that with what is it, like the new Super Mario Brothers series? You can have more than one person playing.
4.
Up to 4 people. So like allow us to create levels and then race them together. Like that, it would just be amazing. We do that now on Twitch, with each other. We race levels together.
Mm-hmm.
So like if you're able to do it on the same console, or being able to join the other person's game and see it on the same, like 2 characters on the same screen, like there's a lot of really, really awesome stuff they could do, which has me excited and hopeful.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I mean, and they've got to get Peachette in there, right? Or Bowsette, maybe. I'm sure everybody loves that as well.
It would be a misstep if they didn't. at least as a costume, that would be awesome.
I'm down. Let's do it. Well, man, this has been great. Thank you for taking the time. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. Tell everybody where they can find you, your stream schedule, that kind of stuff.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I stream Sunday through Thursdays on Twitch at twitch.tv/Cliffy, Cliffy, 8 p.m. to midnight Central Time. We do bonus streams sometimes on Fridays and Saturdays too. Whenever I do that, I put that information on my Twitter at CliffyVG. You can follow on Instagram at CliffyTV, and I post daily Twitch clips and highlights from my streams there. And I think that's mostly, everything I have.
I think it was Monday night. Were you streaming with like a little kid, like your son?
My son?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We jumped in. I was like,
pretty much every night on stream.
And he likes to slam the door, apparently.
Oh, that's his thing. I can't even. I don't even know. I couldn't bribe him. There's no way to get him to not slam the door every night. I don't understand it. I don't know where it started.
You got to get it under control, man.
Yeah, right. Got to buckle down.
Yeah. All right. Well, guys, you can follow me on Twitter at N64Josh. You can follow the show at NPowercast. If you'd like to check out the show notes, all the links that we mentioned, the sales, if you listen to this show regularly, we usually do the sales. I'll have the links. You can go check them out if you're, want to make sure you're not missing anything. The show notes are n64josh.com/NPC134. You want to email the show, you got questions, comments, whatever, it's npc@n64josh.com. You want to get yourself that free book from Audible, go to audibletrial.com/NPC. Again, the chair I'm sitting in is from OPC. You can go to n64josh.com/OPC to automatically save $10 at checkout. I got a Discord. We have a lot of good people in there. If you're looking for people to play Fortnite, Rocket League, Mario Kart, Splatoon, Smash, whatever. We got lots of people in there. It's N64 n64josh.com/discord. We have a Facebook group. If that's your thing, it's n64josh.com/Facebook group. Lastly, if you could rate and review on iTunes, I would greatly appreciate it. We just hit 200 reviews, so thank you guys so much for taking the time to do that. I really do appreciate it. So, Cliffy, it's been awesome, my man.
Yeah,
thank you.
It has been awesome. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, a lot of fun. Cliffy's chat. Guys, thanks for hanging with us tonight. I appreciate it. My chat. You guys are the best. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys on Tuesday for the Nintendo Powercast episode 135. Later.